Good morning. It's time for our daily devotion, and today we're talking about Acts chapter 5. I want to focus today on the last three verses of 5. The disciples, in particular, Peter and John, have been arrested for healing the man outside of the Gate Beautiful at the temple, and they have been warned. They have been thrown into jail. The angel has released them from jail, and they've been recaptured, brought back into court. They have been warned sternly. They have been beaten within an inch of their life and told not to preach in the name of Jesus any longer. So what do? Well, the last three verses read like this. And the council took the advice of Gamaliel, and after calling the apostles in, they flogged them or beat them and ordered them to speak no more in the name of Jesus, and then they released them. So they went on their way from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they had been considered worthy to suffer shame for his name. And every day in the temple and from house to house, they kept right on teaching and preaching Jesus as the Christ. Now let me ask you a question. If you were arrested, thrown into jail, beaten, warned not to preach or teach in the name of Jesus, would you, one, go out rejoicing that you were counted worthy to suffer shame for Jesus? And two, would you continue to preach and teach? My guess is that in most cases we would not. We have become very spoiled. Most of us were raised in an age and a time when it was very acceptable, even popular, to be a Christian, when most people believed like we did, when there was little or no persecution for believing the truth and for believing the Bible, believing in the existence of God, believing that Jesus was the Messiah, believing in heaven and hell. Those were accepted beliefs. Most of us were raised in a time when there was no persecution. No one looked down on you for believing those things. And we've become very spoiled to that. And most of us now, because there is a little bit of pushback on what we believe, because there are cultural pressures to not be so vocal about our faith, most of us have just kind of like a turtle put our head in the shell, or an ostrich put our head in the sand, and we have stopped sharing and stopped being bold witnesses and stopped naming the name of Jesus, and we are intimidated by the pressure that is being exerted by our culture, society, and world. The truth is that if we are passionately in love with Jesus and if we are experiencing his power on a daily basis, we will be like the apostles and not be able to help ourselves in sharing the message of Jesus Christ. If he has truly affected your life in a dynamic way, it is viral. It is contagious. It can't help but be shared. And that's how we ought to be living. But we have, as I said, been intimidated by the pressure to be quiet and not share our faith for fear that we might offend someone or be politically incorrect. When the truth is, we ought not even consider those things, because we shouldn't even be able to control the fact that Jesus just oozes out of every pore of our being, because we have been affected so much by his love, by God's grace, and God's mercy. Will you be contagious today? Will you be vocal today? Will you share the name of Jesus today? It may cost you. Someone may not like you. Someone may turn up their nose at you or even report you. But the truth is, if he has saved you by his grace, you ought to be living that and sharing that in a loving way with those around you. Now, go make it a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for Acts chapter 6.